Alright, so first of all, I just want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakabodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith, and shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is primarily going to be based around Proverbs 19 and 29. But I'm going to get a few precepts to go along with it. So, Adawan Ratazah, you find this lesson edifying. So it says Proverbs 19:29. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the backs of fools. And I have the definition of scorners here. And it says scorners are arrogant, proud individuals who express contempt, mockery, and derision, frequently rejecting wisdom and authority. And that's what majority of the people out here do. They reject wisdom and authority because the men of the Lord, starting of course with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, are trying to teach these people and warn them about what's about to happen in these last days. But instead of taking heed and listening to these men, majority of people will mock them and tell them, hey, go get a job, or tell them that they're crazy for standing out there preaching the word and doing these lessons. They'll mock the men of the Lord and be like, oh, y'all were saying that, the Lord was going to come back, in the year 2000, just constantly mocking and disrespecting the men of the Lord. Which you mocking and disrespecting the men of the Lord is you mocking and disrespecting the Lord. Because the men of the Lord are merely the ambassadors of the Lord, sent to relay the message of the Lord. So you disrespecting the men of the Lord is you disrespecting the Lord. And then people wonder why such judgments take place every day and why people get wounded and killed every day. Because the Lord is angry with these people because they're simple-minded, they're arrogant, they're proud, and they reject wisdom and authority. Like it says here, often cited in biblical specifically wisdom literature context, Proverbs says they refuse correction, create strife, and actively scoff at religious or established truths. So that's basically what these people do. They refuse correction. The men of the Lord try to correct these people and tell them, hey, all that wickedness that you're doing, eating abominable foods that the Lord tells us we're not supposed to eat. You people are doing drugs, you're committing adultery. These are things you're not supposed to do. So the men of the Lord are trying to help you by warning you about these things and telling you that you're not supposed to do these things. But these people, they reject it. They reject that wisdom because they're so stuck on being wicked. And that wickedness, that arrogance, that pride is going to lead to their destruction. It says Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And majority of the people out here are fools. They despise wisdom and instruction. They despise being told how to be better. Because you fearing the Lord and you straying from wickedness, it's ultimately going to make your life better. Like obviously, even those of us of the hopeful elect, we still get chastised by the Lord because we are still in captivity. We still are receiving our punishment. We're not in the kingdom of heaven yet. So we can't, afford to be getting comfortable here, especially seeing as the Lord is about to destroy this place. The men of the Lord are warning the people, telling them, like, hey, the Lord's getting ready to destroy this place. The economy is about to collapse. There's about to be civil wars and race wars and famines out here. Things are about to get very bad. The men of the Lord are actually trying to help the people. But these people, they despise wisdom and instruction. They don't want to be told, quote unquote, what to do. They want to do whatever they want to do. But what they want to do is a bunch of wickedness that's going to get them destroyed. Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. And the simple are these people, these scoffers and scorners, these fools. They're the ones that are going to get punished because they're refusing wisdom and instruction. They despise wisdom and instruction. These people, they believe that, Esau, the so-called white man, is never going to allow there to be a famine. They believe that Esau is not going to let the economy collapse. What they don't understand is that the economy collapsing, famines, civil wars, race wars, power outages, all the chaos that's about to happen, this is coming straight from the Lord. Esau has no control over what's about to happen. Esau is merely a pawn in the Lord's plans. And like it says in Psalms 118:8, it is better to trust in the Lord Yahweh than to put confidence in man. So those of us of the hopeful elect, the sincere brothers and sisters, we fear the Lord, which is the beginning of knowledge, and we trust in the Lord. We understand that this is the Lord's program. This is not Esau's program. The Lord is the one who dictates what happens and how things play out. So if you were wise, you would want the Lord to be on your side. You would want the Lord to guide you and to protect you. But majority of these people out here are not wise. They're simple. They're stupid. They're foolish. And that's going to lead to their demise. It says, Proverbs 22:3, the prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. Emphasizes that wisdom involves foresight, planning, and avoiding unnecessary risks, whereas foolishness leads to ignoring warnings and experiencing negative consequences. And that's the difference between those of us of the hopeful elect and basically everybody else. Through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, we of the hopeful elect have been blessed with wisdom that grants us foresight and allows us to avoid unnecessary risks. We don't put ourselves in unnecessary situations. We have that wisdom that basically guides us to not do certain things. That way we don't get caught up in situations we have no business being caught up in. It says, whereas foolishness leads to ignoring warnings and experiencing negative consequences. And that's why it says right here, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So those of us of the hopeful elect, who through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai have been made wise, we're able to foresee the evils. We understand that we are in the last days. We understand that these are some perilous times. We understand that all sorts of chaos and violence is about to ensue upon the earth. So we're hiding ourselves under the hedge of protection of the Lord. But these simple, foolish people are not doing that. They're rejecting wisdom. They're rejecting instruction. They're rejecting knowledge. You know, they think that they got it all figured out. A lot of these people have this YOLO spirit, this you only live once spirit, which is not true, because reincarnation is a thing. Every third or fourth generation, after you die, the Lord brings you back upon the earth. So you really don't only live once. But see, these people, they're so wicked and they're so simple-minded and foolish. They don't understand that. You know, because they have that mindset of you only live once, they're out here being just as wild and as wicked and as reckless as they can be, because they think that once they die, that's the end of it. Even though the men of the Lord are telling them that that's not the case. But these people, they don't want to listen. And because they don't want to listen, because they're rejecting the wisdom from the Lord, these people are going to die. Because if you're not following the Lord, then you're against the Lord. If you're not with the Lord, then you're against him. And if you're against the Lord, then that makes you an enemy of the Lord. And if you're an enemy of the Lord, you're going to die, because the Lord is going to destroy all his enemies. So that's what's in store for these simple-minded, foolish, wicked, arrogant, proud people. Is punishment, it's destruction, it's judgment, it's stripes, it's sore strokes, it's many great miseries. That's why in Isaiah 48 and 22 it says, there is no peace, saith the Lord Yahweh, unto the wicked. The Lord is really about to open the floodgates of judgment upon these people. He's about to dish out some severe, non-stop, sore strokes upon these people in the form of just continual judgments befalling them. And this is what these people deserve, because they constantly reject wisdom. They mock the men of the Lord. They disrespect the men of the Lord. So these people, they deserve every bit of judgment that the Lord is about to send their way. And those of us of the hopeful elect, we should not feel bad for these people, because the Lord is constantly giving these people chances, and they reject every one of them. So they have to reap what they have sown. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakakwadash. The Wadi Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, for putting his spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors toward our brothers who are still fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. And shalom toward the sincere believers, which includes the Israelites who are scattered amongst these other nations and look like these other nations. Or the members of the elect who are scattered amongst these other nations and look like these other nations. I hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Adawan Ratazah, which means Lord's will. Until next time, Shalom.